Hi everyone and welcome to Nico's Kitchen's What You Want Wednesday. Today's recipe request comes in from the Facebook user AJ Gandhi, and he's asked me to make some cinnamon scrolls. So let's get started.
He's got budget meals Monday, what you want Wednesday, fast food Friday, what else could he share? It's Nico's Kitchen where satisfying meals are prepared.
So guys, the first thing that we're going to do to get started on our cinnamon scrolls, just into a large bowl, I'm going to be adding in some butter that I've just chopped up. And make sure the butter is cold as well, we don't want it too soft. Next, I'm going to be adding in some self-raising flour. Now, if you can't get self-raising flour, you can just use some normal flour with about a teaspoon of baking powder added. Next, I'm going to be adding in some sugar. Now, you could do this in the food processor if you wanted to. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Make sure your hands are nice and clean, and all we want to do is just grab it, jump in there, get the butter, and you want to pinch the flour into the butter, and just keep doing this until this mixture forms like breadcrumbs. So once we've done our flour, butter, and sugar, and we've combined that just into a jug, I'm now going to be pouring in some milk, and I'm also going to be adding in an egg. And I'm just going to give this a good mix just with a fork, and I'm just going to be pouring that into our flour mix. Now, what I want to do now is mix this together until it forms a dough. So we'll start off with a spoon, and then when it gets nice and thick, we'll start working it with our hands. So once we've got our dough just like that in the bowl, just onto a surface here, I'm going to just sprinkle down some flour. I'm going to pull our dough out onto here, and I want to knead this dough now for about a minute. So this is what we're after here with our dough. So we're just going to put down some more flour, and I've got a rolling pin here, and I'm just going to cover that with some flour as well, and I want you to roll out the dough. Now once we've rolled out our dough, what I've got now is some melted butter and just a pastry brush, and I'm just going to brush the pastry just like this and get it all coated with that butter. Now after the butter, I'm going to be sprinkling over our nuts, and the nuts I have here are some slithered almonds, some hazelnuts that I've chopped up, and also some walnuts that I've chopped up roughly, and I just want to sprinkle them over the top. Next, I've got some brown sugar that I'm going to be sprinkling over the top, and lastly I'm going to be putting over some ground cinnamon, of course. Now guys, what we want to do now is just roll this up nice and tight. You can see here that I'm just rolling this up, okay, and this is what we want to do. Now just before we cut up our scrolls, I'm using a Pyrex baking dish that I'm going to be baking these in, and I've just brushed it with some of that melted butter. But if you're using a large tin pan, you want to make sure that you've brushed it well with butter, just so it stops it from sticking in the oven. And just using a serrated knife, I want to just cut through. And just before we pop them into the oven, just with the remaining melted butter, I'm just going to be putting it over the top. Now we're going to pop these into a preheated oven at 200 degrees C, and we're going to pop them in there for 20 to 25 minutes. So guys, I've just pulled them out of the oven, and they smell so good. Now while they're still warm, what I'm going to do, I've got some golden syrup here, and I'm just going to drizzle some of that syrup over the top, and that will just melt in. And guys, it's as easy as just grabbing a knife and just cutting them apart and pulling them out of the dish. So there you have it guys, there's my cinnamon scrolls with some mixed nuts, with the hazelnuts, the almonds and the walnuts, and it just smells wonderful. The cinnamon is just beautiful, that brown sugar has just melted with that butter, and just a little bit of stickiness and sweetness with that golden syrup on the top. Just check that out, yummo, let's go. Oh, so good. As always, As always, the ingredients are below, so give this one a try. You will love it, I guarantee it. You guys take care, and I'll see you this Friday for Fast Food Friday. So until then, take care.